Okay, hello. So, today the lesson is going to be just some reading practice, something to look at, and you can pause the video and read by yourself, or you can read with me. So, we're going to do reading practice, but we're going to focus on the words the, a, or an. So, here, I'm going to put my little video picture down there, and we're going to read through this once, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to try and find all of the words that are the, a, or an. Okay, houses are so expensive in Salt Lake City. I have always wanted to buy a house. I don't think I can afford a house here. The prices just keep going up. I know that some of you want to buy a new house too, right? So, this is something that I know that a lot of you are probably thinking houses are so much money. Why are they so expensive just in Salt Lake? Why? Um, but let's go back through this and try and find the words the, a, or an, or even what we talked about, how sometimes you can have a noun and not use an article, right? So let's go through. So houses are so expensive in Salt Lake City. I have always wanted to buy okay, there we go. There's our first one. I have always wanted to buy a house. I don't think I can afford a, oh, there we go. I can afford a house here. The prices just keep going up. So, looks like there's three, right? Three times that we used a or the. Um, the other thing is, can you figure out where in this story we could use an article where there's a noun, but we don't because we're talking about something generally, right? Remember how I said, let's see, uh, how I said you use no article before an abstract noun, such as a feeling or an idea. Um, you can also use it, for example, you also, when you talk about a category or group in general, you do not use an article, right? So if you're just talking about dogs in general, dogs make good pets. You don't need a the right there. There's no the or a or and. You don't need that. So can you see in here where we have a noun, but we don't have an article? It's right here. It's at the beginning of the sentence. So houses, right? The singular is the word house when we're just talking about one. Houses mean lots of them. And instead of saying the houses, we say houses because we're talking about houses as a group, as a whole. So we don't need to say the or a because we're not trying to talk about one specifically, right? Now, in this sentence, I have always wanted to buy a house. Now, why do we use a house instead of the house? Well, the reason is I'm not thinking of just a specific house, right? If I said the house, that would mean that the person I'm talking to knows about which house I'm talking about. So that's the other thing when you try and figure out if I need to use, should I say or should I say the? Usually when we use the, it's because the person we're talking to knows exactly the thing, right? The house that you're talking about. So that's why you would use the. But you use a, or sometimes it's pronounced a. We use it because the person we're talking to, we're not really trying to tell them about a specific one, just one of all of them that are in there, right? I don't need to have the house. I'm not thinking of a specific house. I'm just thinking of one of all of the houses. So that's why we use a there. I don't think I can afford a house. Again, you say a house because because you're not talking about, all like buying all of the houses. It's just one of the whole group. Whereas the is also one of the whole group, but it's one that you know which one it is, and the person you're talking to knows which one it is. So we also say the word this, the prices. The prices just keep going up. Now, you could in English say, instead of saying the prices, you could get rid of the word the and just say, prices just keep going up. But it's important to say the prices because we're talking about specific prices, the price of a house, and that is what is going up. So that's why we use the in that sentence, but it's also acceptable. It's okay to say prices. Prices just keep going up because, we spent all this time talking about buying a house. So somebody listening would say, oh, okay, I know they're talking about the price of a house. That's what they're talking about. Okay, so let's read through this next one. All right, let me try and get a little pointer. Okay. When I was walking down the street, I saw some garbage. Streets usually have garbage on them, but this trash looked different. I looked closer and it was a $20 bill. Okay, so this story, let's go through and read where if we see a, an, or the. And also think of like the if you see a noun and it doesn't have the, a, or an before it, ask yourself, okay, why does it not have one? How can I use that? So when I was walking down the street, I saw some garbage. Streets usually have garbage on them, but this trash looked different. I looked closer and it was a $20 bill. So this one didn't have very many, thes or a's or ands in here. But also we had a noun, right, that didn't have uh it didn't have the or a or an before it. We also have a noun here. Streets usually have garbage, but there's not a, or an before it. So we'll talk about why um it doesn't. Oh, it's here too. Look at that. Some garbage, right? Okay. So, first one, the. When I was walking down the street. So, when we're saying in this sentence, I was walking down the street, um the story is trying to let you know it's a specific street. It wasn't just any street. It was a specific one. But it doesn't tell us which street. Then it says, I saw some garbage. Now you may be thinking, why does it not say the, like, I saw some, the garbage? Why does it not say, I saw some, a garbage? Why does it not use an article? Because that's a noun and nouns need to have an article come before them. Well, the answer is because we're talking about garbage as a whole group instead of just a specific one, right? Or one of all of them, right? We're just saying, I saw some garbage because that's what we call it whenever we see trash on the ground, stuff that we put in trash cans and things like that. We call it garbage, right? We call it trash. We don't say, and I saw the garbage. You would only use that if you were trying to point out specific garbage. Like, for example, If you were talking to your daughter and you said, "Oh, I need you to clean up the garbage off your bedroom floor," you would use the garbage, because you're saying, okay, you and I both know what we're talking about, and it's the garbage, that garbage that's on your floor. But if you said, can you pick up the garbage in the house, it's just talking about all of it, any of it. You're not thinking of one of them, you're just thinking of all of it. So the next one that we have, the next noun, streets. Streets usually have garbage on them. When we talk about streets, we're talking about them, right, as a big group, so we don't need to put the, a, or an. And this next one, garbage. It's the same as the garbage that we used here, right? Um, we're just talking about all of garbage, garbage as a category, right? And the last one is I looked closer and it was a $20 bill. Now we use a because we're talking about one of all of the $20 bills that are in the world, but we also use a instead of an because of the sound that comes at the beginning of the next word. The sound at the beginning of the next word is t, t, right? It's a T, and a T is a consonant sound. So we use a instead of an. Okay, so this next one is a lot of reading. And it may be kind of difficult to read through. So I'll try and go through quickly. If you need to go slower, that's okay. Just trying to figure out a place to put me that you can see stuff. Okay, so this is from a news article, and I will read it, and you can read it with me too. And then we'll go through and pick out all of the thes and the a's and the ands. And then what I want you to do is go through and think, okay, do I understand why the is used here? Why is used here? Why an is used here? And go back maybe to the older videos if it's a little bit confusing to you. Okay, so this says, I'm going to get my little dot. In preparation of the upcoming summer travel season. Okay, and this is where it gets hard because you can't see. Let's see. The word right there is the, so that's not very helpful to you. But in preparation of the upcoming summer travel season, the UHP, that's the Utah Highway Police, and 20 other agencies will be conducting a special distracted driving enforcement effort statewide from today through Monday morning, with the main focus being in Salt Lake and Utah counties. Officers will be working an extra 127 overtime shifts, focusing solely, that means only, on distracted drivers, thanks to a federal grant. Police in marked patrol cars, unmarked vehicles, and motorcycles will be patrolling both the freeways and side streets. In 2020, there were 4,927 crashes in Utah directly attributed to distracted driving. According to the UHP, Utah Highway Police, uh, those crashes also resulted in 19 deaths and nearly 1,800 injuries. Okay, so this, you may be thinking, is this just another story? So this actually is something that came on in the news that I thought you should know about, is that the police are going to be out a lot, and they are going to be not just driving around and like going to places, they are going to be looking for people who are using their phones while they drive. Now, some of you I know do not drive because you take the tracks, but if you drive, like you have a car at your house that you take to the grocery store, if you have a friend that drives, or if you drive to work, um, just be careful this week because the police will be looking for people on their phones. So now that we got that out of the way, let's go through and find all of the thes, a's, or ands. In preparation of the upcoming summer travel season, this word right here is the, you can't see it, I'm so sorry. The UHP and 20 other agencies will be conducting a, right, a special distracted driving enforcement effort statewide from today through Monday morning, with the main focus being in Salt Lake and Utah counties. Officers will be working there we go, an extra 127 overtime shifts, focusing solely on distracted drivers, thanks to a federal grant. Police in marked patrol cars, unmarked vehicles, and motorcycles will be patrolling both the freeways and side streets. In 2020, there were 4,927 crashes in Utah directly attributed to distracted driving. According to the UHP, those crashes also resulted in 19 deaths and nearly 1,800 injuries, or 1,800. Um, so there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times in this story, in this news report, that use the word the, a, or an. Now, just look at this and try and say, okay, I know why they use the here, why they use and here, right? They use and here because they're saying, they're using extra hours, just like some of something. But they have to use an N after. They have to say and because the sound that comes at the beginning of the next word is a eh. It's a vowel sound, extra. So just look at this and try and use what I've kind of showed you and try and say, okay, I know why they use this and why they do not use that, right? And maybe if you're feeling like really, like you feel like you really understand this, look for the vowels in the story that don't have a article, right? The, a, or an come before it, or they don't have a preposition come before it. And you may be like, what's a preposition again? Prepositions are words like in. What's another preposition that's in here? Motorcycles will be both. I think in is, to. To is a preposition. Um, in, there's another in, there's in at this, there's of, right? So just try and look for those nouns that don't have anything like an article or a preposition in front of them and say, okay, why does it not have it before it? Is it because it's talking about a category? Is there a error in the story? I don't know. So, okay, so that's it for our lesson today. I hope to see you soon. I've been talking with Stuart about coming back and teaching in person because I know some of you really want to have in person.